I'm going to start with this fluid acrylic, and I'm going to add water to it to make it even more fluid. I think I'll just do on this side. Let's make sure we're all in frame. Yeah. And the goal is, I should have probably put some gesso down. The goal is to keep this wet. So you want a nice juicy page, and this is sinking in here pretty good, pretty fast. So let's see what happens here. First I have some isopropyl alcohol. I'm just going to drip it on, some large drips. With my fingers, you can do it with a brush. Then I have some in a spray bottle. I'm going to stand back. And I'll put some bigger drop. Whoa, that's too much. Brush works probably better than fingers. But so that's the first layer. You can see the cool effects that you get. And then I have some Heavy Body Payne's Gray. I'm really going to water that down a whole bunch. And you want this layer to be dry, so I'm going to dry that off. Alright, that's dry. So now I'm just going to go over that with this watered down Payne's Gray. Doesn't that remind you of finger painting? Used to be one of my favorite things to do when I was a kid. Finger paints. If anybody finger paints anymore, I'm going to I have red iron oxide, just acrylic craft paint, and antique gold acrylic craft paint. And I'm going to start with the darker color, and I'm going to water it down quite a bit. You want your paint to be pretty wet, and you want it to stay pretty wet. So it's probably like the consistency of milk. Put that on. before it can soak totally into the paper, I have some 91% alcohol. I'm just going to get some big drips first, just splashing it on with my fingers, and then I have some in a spray bottle, and I am going to spray it and get some smaller spots. I'm going to pick it up so you can see it better. Once that is dry, I'm going to go over it with the antique gold, so I'm going to dry it off. I find that this, at least in my experience, for some reason, for me, it's worked better with just those little bottled craft paints. I've tried heavy body acrylics, I've tried fluid and high flow acrylics, and I just never have gotten as good a result as I get with just the craft paints. And this gold is probably going to have some goobers in it because it's old. You could have stopped and you could have stopped with the first layer. You don't have to do 2 colors. It's just a really kind of cool technique with 2 or even more. You can keep going as many layers as you want. You don't want too much water. And sometimes that will stop the spots. So sometimes this works for me and sometimes it doesn't. I'd like to see that red coming through the yellow. It doesn't look like it's going to eat through far enough. Might end up going with the red over this yellow because I'm not really seeing much here. And just break it up a little bit. That's kind of cool too. Like that. See, sometimes accidents lead you in places that you aren't expecting to go, but they turn out to be happy places. I like this. I'm just going to leave it like that. I hope you can see that. It almost has like a brocade look to it. There's both colors in my brush that time. Oh. I'll wipe it back again. Alcohol will lift it. If you don't get spots, just do this. You'll get something you can use. My paper towel is disintegrating. Switch to a baby wipe. So in this page I just took a Payne's Gray Neocolor 2 crayon, scribbled all over the page, and then I just went over it with white gesso, and it smears the crayon enough to color the gesso. The gesso seals the crayon so it isn't as water soluble when I go on top of it with other mediums. And it just lays down some pattern in the background that will still show through here and there depending on what I do on top of it. So that's not quite dry. I'm going to hit it with the dryer and then put some paint on it. Dry enough. And I think I will just scrape on some Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold to start. One of my favorite ways to apply the paint. I'm just going to use my bowl scraper. Just kind of block it, and you can see that you still see the crayon showing through because the paint is transparent. And where I'm overlapping the paint, I get different values. Which just kind of makes for a cool background to build on. I can make marks with this as long as the paint is still wet, which I also like. I don't have to cover every square inch here. Oops, now I got it on my other page. But you get the idea. I could go with another color if I wanted to. Really should have put a protector sheet in there. Okay. That's alright. So I have 2 pages over here. I did get a lot on it, didn't I? That we use the alcohol and the paper towel to remove it. And then these 2 pages, this one we got the cratered look by wiping the alcohol off. And then this one with the Neocolor underneath. I'll do something really pretty on there. So those are my tips and show and tell for this Fast Fun Friday. Experiment with your materials, build some backgrounds in your journals. You know, it's a fun way to experiment. If it doesn't turn out, you haven't wasted a canvas or you know, even good art paper. It's just practicing in your journal. These techniques though do work best if you have like fairly heavy paper in your journal, because they're pretty wet techniques. This one not so much. This one you could do on pretty much any paper and it would be fine. But with the alcohol and the layering the wet paint, you want kind of a sturdy paper. So I hope you enjoyed watching all of these different experimental backgrounds. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for even more experiments and art experiences and projects every week. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye.